Hello and welcome to Allbox Spain Health and Wellbeing Channel. My name's Craig. It's Sunday, the 28th of February, 2021. And today I will be talking to Maya from Sol Yoga Center here in Spain. We're going to be talking all about yoga and the benefits of yoga. Maya is a professional with a lot of experience and knowledge about yoga and what it can do for us. We had some technical issues in this interview and the front part of the interview has been clipped. We've missed out a bit of the interview at the beginning. Technical issue. I'm a bloke. It's my fault. I'll take all the blame for it. So I'm introducing the video from this pre-video, hoping you'll all forgive me. It's still got some very interesting information in it. And most importantly, it's got Maya's contact details at the end. So stay tuned and enjoy the video. So to start the yoga process, I don't need to be worried that I need to be flexible, bendy, or even fit. I go there in order to achieve that fitness, in order to get flexible. So it's the I suppose it's a myth, dispelling the myth that I'm not gonna don't be worried, don't be nervous about going to these classes, because they're there for you to develop, for you to progress, to go from being what you are into being that better physical, mental, spiritual sort of shape by doing the practice, if I'm making sense there. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. And what you've got to remember, because of where we live, and I'm dealing with a lot of people from Spanish and British and all walks of life, all shapes and sizes, all ages, all fitness levels. I'm catering for everybody here. I even like I think it was 18 months ago, I mentioned that I did my accessible yoga training.
Yep.
Now that training was very, very dear to my heart. It was, because over the years, even though, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. So my youngest student is 17 and my oldest student is 85. And then my average age of students are around about 60 that come here. So even though the yoga helps to improve and maintain your overall well-being, sometimes people that have been coming to yoga, so for example, there's a lady with an autoimmune disease that comes, and then she had a very bad flare-up and wasn't able to practice with me, and it set her back quite a bit. It did, to the point where she wasn't strong or able to come back to a regular class. So going and doing my accessible yoga training taught me and trained me on how to bring people back with limited mobility and teach them how to practice yoga again, but in a different way. So we also provide chair yoga classes twice a week. My mother-in-law, who's in her early 80s, that can't practice a regular class anymore, she does 2 chair classes a week with us.
Wow.
And it's been able to bring back people back to the center that we'd lost, and not lost because they didn't want to practice, but lost because they physically couldn't manage a regular class.
Gotcha. So that's interesting as well. I didn't even know chair yoga existed. So that's interesting. But I suppose the important thing here as well that I'm noticing is it's key. You said it's a science, an exact science, but this isn't a one-off where you should be looking to do it for 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. This is a lifestyle change.
It can be for some people. I think it leads to be a lifestyle change for a lot of people that practice on a regular basis, but it doesn't have to be. Definitely not. If people want to come purely because they want to be able to put their socks on, for example, I mean, even that, as you get older and you start losing your flexibility, you have to start sitting down on the bed to put your socks on, and then you get to a stage where you can't even reach your feet anymore. And practicing yoga on a regular basis, you start to regain all those like simple things that you were able to do: bend down, clean the bottom of the kitchen cupboards, without having to, get down on your hands and knees. It's simple things. It's simple things that we need to be able to help maintain our mobility as we get older. And yoga is one of those practices that helps you to do that. It's so important for joint health. It's one, again, that's another one of the main benefits is joint health. Because yoga, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Craig.
I suffer with my knees. I totally get that. I've had meniscal tears and meniscus removed from both knees, 4 operations. So I suffer my knees now, even at my age. But one thing I try to promote when I do my fitness and well-being with my clients is, for me, the importance of core strength and core stability, because I always relate to the story. My mother, bless her, who's passed, she fell over once. She lived in the Hebrides, and there was no family near her. But she fell over at night or in the evening, and she stayed in the hallway all night on the floor because she didn't have the core strength to get up. And that sort of stayed with me. And the analogy I give people is, we've all mucked about on skateboards and skates when we're younger, when we've got a really good center of gravity and core strength. But if we try and do that now, we're almost like a cartoon, arms and legs failing everywhere sort of thing. So the joint health is really important, and something, again, that I've latched onto, because I'm always promoting to people, as we get older, we need to really not so much have bulging muscles and that's not important, but we need to make sure that what we've got works, and it works well, in order for us to have that lifestyle and that life skill to sort of benefit us.
Yeah, there's a practice that on a Tuesday I teach gentle hatha yoga. And there's a series of movements. We call them the joint freeing series. And we work from the toes right the way up to the neck. And we work every joint in the body during about a 20-minute session. I mean, it's included in the longer session, but it takes about 20 minutes, 30 minutes to run through the whole body. But as we're doing that, we're helping to free up any blocked energy in the joints, but also we're stimulating the synovial fluid, which helps to, increase our joint movement. So everything is interrelated. Is that the right word?
Sure. Yeah, I understand.
Interrelated. There was something else I was going to say, but anyway, go ahead.
So, again, this is interesting as well. I'm learning quite a lot here, Maya, I must be honest. So I do appreciate this, and I'm sure the viewers will as well. So actually, because one of my concerns about doing yoga was the thought of me, I used to do karate as a martial art when I was younger, then went to Kung Fu. When I done karate, part of the initial pose is on the knees with the rising sun going down on the mat. The thought now of getting down in that position where I'm sat on my heels in that kneeling position, it makes my toes curl upwards, because obviously with my my cartilage problems, my knees pop if I get in that position. So that's another question I would have had personally, was, apart from the flexibility on my joints, you see that typical yogic yoga pose where they're putting one leg over the other leg over, and I'm thinking, there's no way in a month of Sundays I could do that, So the joint thing's important as well. Because for me, I'd be like, no, I can't do that.
Yoga is about learning how to listen to your body. And what we never use the words, no pain, no gain. Those words are not allowed in this building at all.
Dangerous words.
Yeah, I banned those words 11 years ago. They're not allowed in this building. But it's about, it's that body, mind, breath connection, and it's about connecting into your body and respecting what your body can do in the moment. We may be able to touch our toes one Tuesday morning in class, and then the following Tuesday morning, we can barely get past our knees. And we can't judge ourselves and compare ourselves. So it's really important that we allow people to be where they're at with their practice, because it's personal. It's their own personal practice. And if we are giving people a safe, nurturing environment for them to explore yoga and allow yoga, what's the expression, is that we don't make we don't force our body into a pose. We adapt. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, yeah, it does. And that's good, because that goes
Yeah.
against what I've been taught in the past. I love the fact you don't use no pain, no gain. I always say to people, there's no medals for this session. It's at your own pace. It's within your own boundaries. And if you can only walk when I'm saying jog, then that's fine, because, you know, it's within your boundary. And I think for me, people must enjoy what they're doing, haven't they? That they have to have that enjoyment and come away from a session and go, oh, I enjoyed that. Maybe a little bit trying in the middle or whatever, but actually I enjoyed that. I feel good, because I imagine with yoga, like with fitness, and I know it's a science and not like a fitness thing as such, but I imagine it releases the endorphins and the serotonin and the feel good drug and the neurotransmitters that fitness does. Would that be fair?
Yeah, definitely. And not just that, if we go back to the pranayama, the breathing practices, the word pranayama, again, is another Sanskrit word, but we can break it up into two words, prana and yama. And prana is kind of translates as life force energy. And yama is another word that means control or restraint. So pranayama is control of the breath.
Okay.
Once you learn to control your breath, you learn how to control your mind. So for yogis, I'm not talking like us who regularly practice, but like the ancient sages and saints, those kind of yogis, you know, practicing asana, the posture, was only a means to be able to sit still for longer periods of time in meditation. That's how asana came about.
Okay.
It's so, yeah. But I mean, we use asana to be able to keep our bodies flexible, moving, and strong. And going back to a point that you made about core strength, another thing that a lot of people don't realize, they think about Pilates and they think core strength. They think about yoga and they think about flexibility. Yoga is core strength.
Okay.
There's a lot. The majority of the postures that we practice and I'll explain about our sequencing as well. The majority of the postures that we practice include core strength. We're increasing and strengthening our backs and our abdominal muscles, but that's not the focus. See, the focus is normally somewhere else. So whether let's use back bend. Let's use back bends for as an example. So there's a series of back bends that we practice, and the first one is called the Cobra Pose, and that focuses primarily on the thoracic spine and the muscles that support that area. Now, the thoracic spine is the part of the spine that has the least amount of movement. So working with some postures that help increase flexibility in that region of the spine, so many benefits. I mean, as we get older and we start stooping a lot,
Yes.
you know, so like with the back bending poses, they're focusing on increasing the flexibility in various parts of the spine and strengthening the muscles on either side of the spine, but they have the effect of opening up the front of the body.
Okay.
You know, so a lot of old age is this.
Yes. Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree.
we get more and more stooped over, and the more stooped over we become, the more difficult it is to breathe also, you know, because we are caving in on our chest cavity.
Sure,
and we're
yeah.
starting to crush our lungs and reduce that capacity to be able to take a deep breath. So practicing something like back bending poses, you know, it's opening up the front of the body, keeping all this nice and open. So it's not just an effect that's going on in the back. We call them back bends, but there's a lot going on in the front of the body. And going back to the Cobra Pose, and also then because of the pressure that you have on your abdominal organs, you are massaging the abdominal organs, stimulating the digestive system and stimulating the reproductive system. So we're helping to keep these systems healthy. So going back to the prana, oh, go on. See?
No. I'm just taking a breath. Carry on talking, please. I'm learning here. That was a breath.
Yeah. So going back to the pranayama. So with the breathing practices, we were talking about energy and vitality. So by practicing the breathing practices, what we're doing as we are increasing our oxygen intake, which obviously then is feeding our blood cells, and that's being taken around our body and making us feel a lot brighter and more healthier. It's what was I going to say? Lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me. Sorry. This
is I'm not saying you're right, because that would be very rude. It's so interesting when you said at the beginning that this isn't a fitness, this isn't a way of life, this is a science. And what you're saying is really intriguing in terms of the benefits yoga has on us human beings living a full life, an able-bodied life for as long as we can, and really maximizing that existence, if you want, on this mortal coil. But what sort of stories have you got of people that have came to you in position or condition A who have then progressed to condition or position B? Have you got any sort of inspiring short stories you could tell us about people that you've had the pleasure to train with, or something that people would sort of go, wow, that's interesting?
Oh, well, I don't think I've got any kind of no, that's fine. I don't think I've got any kind of major wow. Yeah, I mean, I had a young Spanish guy in his 40s. He was in our box teaching for about 4 years until he had another placement somewhere. And he came with his forward bend, and he was sat like this in his forward bend, and then like 4 years later, when he moved back to Baza, he was strong, he was fit, and and he could sit with his legs crossed like that as well. But that's not what we're really talking about. What I see is that I see improvement very, very quickly as a teacher. I can have new students come, let's take somebody a little bit older. They don't do much physical exercise, and I start them off with a certain sequence. We have a sequence that we follow, and again, it's science-based. It's a science-based sequence that we follow. And when I see movement, if students are coming on a regular basis and they only need to come once a week and do a 90-minute class once a week, I can guarantee in 6 weeks they will feel different, and they will start seeing improvements in their flexibility. There's one kind of movement that we use. You might know what I'm talking about. We call it bridge pose. It's where you're lying on your back, you bend your knees, you have the ankles underneath the knees, and you press into your feet, and you lift your hips and your spine away from the mat. Yep. I don't know what you might call it, but we call it bridge pose. Now, for students that come with, and they're new and they've got stiff spines, their buttocks might only lift up about 2-4 inches away from the ground, but guaranteed 6 weeks down the line that they're 6-8 inches off the ground, because yoga focuses on the spine, primarily. Is that like
the we used to do it at school in gymnasts or PE, the crab position? Is it similar to the crab pose?
No, because I think the crab is when your arms are like that, and you come up you lift your whole body. Yeah. No, this one is you keep your back, you keep your shoulders and your upper back down on the mat, and you're literally just curling your spine up and down,
like a hip thrust upwards.
Yeah, probably.
Gotcha.
Probably something like that. So okay. Somebody that's got a very stiff spine will only be able to come up a few inches, and then that's something that you see improve in people very, very quickly. So I don't have a big story. I mean, I love watching everybody progress. I love watching them come for the very first time, be very nervous and self-conscious, and very, very quickly settle into, because the classes are small and they're very personal, and it's not like you come into, it's not like you go into a gym, you're exercising on your own. You're seeing the same people every week. You start building up a friendly relationship. And yeah, it soon becomes, we're a family. That's what we are. We're a family.
Okay, then. So you've been doing this a long time. You've influenced many, many people. Why do they keep coming back?
Well, they grow to love their practice. They feel comfortable in their bodies. They enjoy coming into a dedicated space that is only for yoga. They feel safe, and they feel protected, and they feel nurtured. And yeah, and a lot of it changes from being the physical, and the mental and emotional becomes more important for them. After a while, it does. They get it. They get it. They get what's, they get the whole package.
They see and feel the benefits of what they're doing.
Yeah.
They see that it's working for them. We're moving on, so I'll come probably to the last bit. I know you're a very busy person, Maya, and again, thank you again for joining us. Are there any myths that you would like to dispel on yoga? Are there any myths? We've covered a few of them about you have to be flexible, myth. You have to have really good joints, myth. You have to be able to stand on your head for 10 minutes doing the splits, myth. Are there any other myths that you can think of that you'd just like to put out there and say, myth alert, this isn't true, that maybe help people take up yoga, or at least look into practicing yoga with a professional?
Yes. I think we covered a lot of them, actually. I don't think there was anything that we kind of missed out. Yeah.
I suppose they're mainly, aren't they? The male female sort of balance we talked about. We talked about the you do not have to be flexible, because going to yoga is to become more flexible. You do not have to be fit or particularly athletic because you go to yoga to become. You work towards those goals. So that's really good. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'd like to squeeze out of you before you go. Have you got anything that you'd like to add, Maya, before we say cheerio?
I think the one thing that was important when we were dispelling the myths is that it's not a religion. We do have a kind of, what's the word, like I'm a spiritual person. I believe in something that is much bigger than me. I believe in the universe, and but I don't believe. But my views are not attached to religion. It's something in me, and that's what yoga teaches. It teaches you that everything that you need is right here. It's right here, right inside, and that is what yoga teaches us all, ultimately. Hopefully.
No, that is good. It's funny for me. The older I've got, I'm 47. The older I've got, I've become less and less materialistic, and I've become more focused on me, my development as a person, and trying to help other people if and where I can. It's funny. I've had a shift. I don't know if everyone goes through that, but certainly I've had that shift where it's not so much about cars, houses, diamond rings type stuff. It's more about me, how I feel, how I connect. Like you, I believe in the universe massively. And it's funny how we have those shifts. So, interesting. Maya, again, thank you very, very much for your time today. If you would like to tell us how people can get in touch with you if they have any questions, or indeed if they would like to come and be your student, if in fact they live here in Spain or abroad, because I believe you do Zoom as well. You do Zoom yoga, is that correct?
Yes, that's right. So last year when the centre closed for a short while, I took my classes online. As you can see, the setup.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you can find me. I have a Facebook page. We are Soul Yoga Centre. We come under the title of Integral Yoga Centre, Soul Yoga Centre, and we're based in Arbaleyas. You can also find me on Facebook. I've got a public profile, Maya Bamford, so you can contact me via that page. You can also, I'll send you the links, Craig, and then you can put them. Sure. You can put them when you put this out. But I've also got a website. I'm on Instagram, and you'll find me on Facebook, Twitter. So yeah, I've got my social media platforms. And if anybody's interested in joining from outside of this area, coming into a class physically. So also, let me mention that we teach 5 days a week. We've got classes for all levels. We do mixed level classes, intermediate advanced, gentle, chair classes, and yin yoga classes. Wow. So we've got a pretty packed selection, or we've got a good selection of classes and class times. And I also teach in Spanish. So there's a Spanish class once a week also. My morning classes are in person and I Zoom at the same time. And my Saturday class is online only. It is. So you can get chair yoga, all levels, gentle, everything is available on Zoom also.
Awesome. Okay. You are a very busy person. We will put all your contact details underneath our videos here. Yeah, absolutely. It will be a ticker tape, and I'll also put it in the write-up beneath the video on YouTube, so people can look into that and contact you how they want to. You are clearly a very busy person, as well as other things that you do as well. On behalf of the All Box Spain Wellness and Health Being channel, thank you very, very much. Guys and girls out there who are watching, remember, this is just a channel. There's no strings attached. It's to bring people, professional subject matter experts like Maya today, bringing forward holistic therapies, treatments, sciences, exact sciences forward that help us as human beings on this path in life, and making us realize that actually we can do so much to remain healthy, stay fit, and heal ourselves. And actually, it's not always that guy with a stethoscope around his neck or in the bottom of a jar of pills. Thank you very much for viewing. Maya, thank you very much for your time, and namaste.
Oh, thank you, Craig. It's been a pleasure.